Thanks to the support as a channel member, Ollie Gunnar Kvam. Look, we've had 5 episodes of me trying to do it your way. It's not gone very well. So now we're going to do it my way. Fetch me my spending trousers. Hello and welcome to part 6 of my FM24 beta save with Brighton. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we've got some games to play, but first, let's have a look at all of these transfers that we've done. This is a very different looking Brighton squad to the one you saw in the last episode. And in fact, we've played a significant bunch of games since the last episode as well. You can see we are relatively comfortably in 10th place in the league. We're in reasonable form. We still lose the odd game here and there, but we're in pretty good form. Things are generally going okay. I don't think I'm in any danger of getting sacked currently. The board are pretty pleased with what we're doing. Dynamics are the best they've been since we've been here. I am aware, when you see just how many transfers we've done, I am aware that in about 3 days' time, I've got to pick the Europa League squad for the second half of the Europa League. And there's going to be a lot of unhappy players again. But we're just going to hope we can get through. We got through it in the first half of the season. So hopefully we'll get through it in the second half of the season. We are reaching the point where there's not a huge amount of danger of us getting relegated, I think. We're more than halfway through the season. If we win like 4 more games, we're not getting relegated. And then I should survive. And then next year, we won't be in Europe. So we don't have to worry about that. We can build properly, get the squad nicely settled in for when the year after we're hopefully back in Europe and can actually register a squad. It's a long-term plan, a long-term vision here at Brighton. So transfers, there's a lot of them. Some of these you already knew about from yesterday's episode. Some of them are brand new. So we're going to go through them relatively quickly because, like I say, there's a lot of them. Adrian Mazilu was one that was already prearranged to come in at the start of the game. He's good. Another good young winger, because that's exactly what we needed in this squad. Another good young winger. Then the ones I arranged, Federico Gatti is in as a new starting centre-back for us. Hiroki Ito can play centre-back. Probably going to take over from Estupiñán at left-back when he moves on, which he probably will. But for now can cover at centre-back. Oyhan Sanset, which I'm almost certainly saying wrong, who's come in and been brilliant. 2 games, 2 goals, an assist and a man of the match. He is awesome. Pedro, the best jawline in Football Manager, has also come in and had a pretty solid start. 4 goals from 2 starts in all competitions for us. 1 goal in 2 in the Premier League. And then I think we get onto the ones that you didn't know about. So Andre is in. He is a 22-year-old Brazilian defensive midfield player, can also play central midfield. He joins us from the Flu for £13.5 million. Vicente Pizarro is another defensive midfielder who can play central midfield. I basically wanted to have the flexibility to play actual central midfielders that we don't really have any of in this 4-3-3 we're using, but also change back to the 2 DMs and the attacking midfielder that we were using earlier in the season. So I needed these players to have some flexibility, and my board insisted that I didn't play Patrick Berg for a bit. They fell out with him, so I needed new DMs as well. So those 2 are also in. We've got Rico Lewis on loan from Manchester City until the end of the season. I don't think we have, no, there's no option to buy him, but we sold Tariq Lamptey. We're going to get to the sales in a second, but Lamptey left. Rico Lewis is his replacement. I think that's an upgrade. We also signed Leon Bailey, again, because of players that we sold, but he's natural on both wings, lightning quick. He's not actually played for us yet, but I think that's a pretty decent value deal, especially when you see that we've sold several of our wingers, even though we've still got lots of young ones. And then Emil Smith-Rowe, just because he was available. I didn't really understand why he was available. Again, he's not played for us yet. He's on loan until the end of the season. We do have an optional future fee as well. But just the fact that he was available made it a little bit of a no-brainer. He can play central midfield, attacking midfield, either wing. I suspect he's going to be our best player. So Emil Smith-Rowe is in as well. And then the players that have left to cover this, because obviously that's a lot of signings. We've also got a lot of sales. So we already knew that Adam Webster was leaving. He's gone to Al Nassr for 28 million. Igor was already prearranged. He's gone to Torino, as has Jan van der Heck. Paul van Heck. Yeah. He's gone anyway. Both of them, about 30 million combined. we got a big offer for Mitoma from Newcastle, 56 million rising to 63. He wanted to go. We weren't going to stand in his way. So Mitoma has gone, and we were able to use the Mitoma money to confirm Ansu Fati is going to join us permanently in the summer. So we basically swapped Mitoma for Ansu Fati permanently, and then went and got Leon Bailey as well with the money. So to me, that seems like good business. We then got a big offer from Spurs for Solly March. It's a loan initially, so they've not given us much money now, but it does have £37.5 million future fee on it for a player who turns 30 in the summer, and we've kind of replaced with Leon Bailey and Ansu Fati and all these youngsters. That felt like a no-brainer as well. And we've then moved some of the fringe players out on loan to get them game time. So Simon Adingra has gone to Leicester. Baleba has gone to West Brom on loan. As mentioned, Tariq Lamptey has gone to Luton, £18 million he's left for. And then Jacob Moda has gone to Everton for £17.5 million. Adam Lallana has gone to Burnley for £2.8 million. And there are still other players hopefully on their way out the door. James Milner is discussing a pre-contract that we're going to try and push him out on early. Buonanotte is going out on loan. We're just not sure where yet. And we're trying to bring in a goalkeeper as well, Lucas Perry, who is a Brazilian goalkeeper that we'd quite like to bring in. He's 6'6", and you can't teach that. So with all of that done, we've still got loads of money in the bank, still got loads of transfer budget to spend, still got loads of wage budget available. And the squad just looks completely different. This is what our team looks like now for this first game against Liverpool. Still with Steele in goal. Would quite like an upgrade there. Estupinian at left back, who was attracting interest earlier in the window, but that seems to have died down. He's not wanted anymore. So Estupinian, Dunk, Schurz and Walker-Peters. Berg, who is now allowed back in the team, sat in front of them with Gross and Sanset ahead of him. Fati on the left, Bailey on the right, and Evan Ferguson up front. We have transfer listed Milner and Welbeck, and Lallana has already gone. We're trying to get rid of the old men, and basically the goal was get rid of everyone who was old, grumpy, didn't want to be here, and replace them with my kind of players who'll fit into my kind of system. I'm fed up trying to play the Brighton way. I need proper central midfielders. We're getting closer to having them now. Smith Rowe is injured, which is why he's not in the team yet. But everything else, I am pretty happy with how things are going there. Obviously, away against Liverpool, we're likely to get our backsides handed to us because Liverpool are fourth in the league. They're quite good. If you've been watching along with my Twitch save as well, which you should, I'm live on Twitch every night at the moment. There's also highlights coming out on LOLLUJO 2 at 10 o'clock every morning of the previous night's Twitch stream. But we're managing Chelsea on a Your World there, like everyone else is. But Liverpool have won like 30 of 32 games. And it's so top of the league. So I know Liverpool and FM24 can be very good. They're only fourth in this version, but I'm still remembering how good they are in the Chelsea save and expecting to get beaten today. And it's, you know what? We're Brighton away against Liverpool. We're supposed to finish mid-table. We're supposed to lose against Liverpool. As long as we don't go and lose 8-0, I don't think I need to worry too much. The main goal, remember, our pre-season targets were get to the knockout rounds of the Europa League, which we've already done, finish above Crystal Palace, we're one spot above them at the moment, and finish in mid-table, which we currently are. So we are on target. We just need to hope that the players don't get too upset when I register the Europa League squad. Really hope that you're only allowed to make 3 changes. We've had like 10 in, 10 out. Our Europa League squad's going to have 9 people in it, and the rest of the squad are going to be upset, even though I literally can't put them in. But that's a problem for Future Kev. Potentially Future Kev later in this video, but Future Kev all the same. That's really poor defending there. I think that was Walker-Peters, who's just let the guy dance past him. I'm still not completely set on this being the system that we're going to go with long term. I think now we're starting to get more of my kind of players in. It might be time to start playing my kind of system, i.e. time to wheel the gegenpress out again. We love a gegenpress around these parts, and it might be time, but we're not going to rush into it. Like you saw before, we're in pretty good form, so this aside, we're not playing very well here, but unless we hit another run of dodgy form, I'm not desperate to change the system whilst we're in the process of changing a load of the players. That's more of a long-term thing. I'm thinking this is going to be a 3-season save, so we can afford to change the system in the summer when we do a few more tweaks to the squad. And as long as we can survive until the summer, which I think we will now, I think we've got enough about us to survive and get that mid-table finish, then I think we can probably start next season with a team more in my image, my boys playing my way. And I think we'll be a different proposition next year. That's the plan anyway. We've got a corner here. A goal back just before half-time would be super duper. I don't know why we're not taking this corner. We seem to be taking a very long time over it. Seen any good films lately? I mean, I don't know what's going on. Oh, here we are. We are going to take the corner. It's an we've got like 3 players carrying injuries. We're going to have to make some changes at half-time here. Dunk just lets the ball slide off his forehead. And I think we've got Fatty. Fatty is injured. Gross is injured. We're just getting them to half-time now. And I think Bailey took a knock early on as well. We have got a diamond that we've been training that we've used a couple of times. It looks quite good. If we're losing both Fatty and Bailey at half time, you might be seeing the diamond, which is not really ready to go yet, but it's had a couple of moments in the FA Cup where it's looked pretty good. We've had Ferguson and Pedro up front, and it works quite nicely. We even had Enciso in behind them, giving him some actual game time. But yeah, we're getting ruined here today anyway. And our wing, we've got to make 3 half-time changes because of injuries. This has not gone very well, has it? I said let's not lose 8-0. I'm a little concerned that this has been such a poor performance. Right, this is the tactic that we've been toying with. So we're going to switch to that. Obviously, we're going to have Ferguson up front. Fatty is injured, so Pedro is going to come on for him and play up with Ferguson. Gross is injured, so we're going to bring on Pizarro to go in there. And Bailey is not really capable of playing there, so we'll put Sunset there, and we can bring Rico Lewis on. So we'll do that. Can he do that? I think he can do it. It might be better the other way around. Do that. We could really do with Emil Smith-Rowe getting fit, because he would be very handy to have in there at the moment. I'm not very confident this team is going to have a very good second half. Oh, God, we had to scroll to get down to the team talk that we're going to do. That's not good. Right, come on, boys. Let's turn this ship around in the second half. Show everybody that we're a diamond team, really. Here you go. Pizarro, your first look at him. I mean, if he sticks that in the top corner, I look like a clever little goose, don't I? Pedro, who, like I say, has been looking pretty good, especially in partnership with Ferguson. They've been playing together in the FA Cup and looking very useful. Walker Peters, this is great work from him. Pizarro, again, shooting wildly. That's 2 shots that got absolutely nowhere near where they were supposed to go that he's had in the first 3 minutes of this second half. Like I say, if that was Emil Smith-Rowe in there, it's 3-2. And all of a sudden, this game is turning on its head. But it wasn't. And that's a shame. Right, Liverpool coming at us again. I don't know whether we should go attacking and actually try and get back into... I do know we probably shouldn't, because Liverpool are very good. And look at them go. Oh, my goodness me. And I realised doing the diamond is kind of the opposite of what I've been preaching throughout the save so far, of against all these narrow formations. I mean, Liverpool are literally playing with inside forwards, an inverted fullback and an inverted wing-back. There is no width anywhere in their team. And I have been talking about, well, let's go wide then. The problem is, when we go wide, they just absolutely control the middle of the pitch, which is what's happened in this first half. So maybe by going for the diamond, we're now just as narrow as they are. We might stand a chance of not having them completely steamroll us. The only problem is when they do step out a little wider, they're going to have all of the space they want, and we're leaving Walker Peters and Estupinian to cover the whole of the width of the entire pitch. We're getting absolutely smashed here. I promise you. I mean, you saw the list. You saw the schedule. You saw the fixtures. I promise you, it's not been this bad. It's not been like this while you've been away. Sunset, who's been brilliant so far, is having an absolute nightmare game, to the point where we actually might have to bring Danny Welbeck on. It's now, see, Welbeck and Milner as options off the bench. Is it really coming to... We've got no attacking midfielders. We have been really hit by injuries today. Injuries and pathetic form. Ferguson and Sunset both really need to come off, but we don't really have anyone to come on for them. I guess we could... I mean, today is just a write-off, isn't it? It's an absolute write-off. Let's just take him off just to spare blushes. Milner can come on, and we've got nobody who can go. I mean, Milner can probably do it as well as anybody. He's awkward in that role. I guess just pull him back here then. What's the worst that could happen? We'll just try and protect ourselves for the rest of the game. There you go. We'll do that. And yeah, can we have the full-time whistle now, please? This is very Championship Manager 0102 playing the 4-1-3-2. I remember when this was the tactic. Oh, my word. Sliding in like a maniac. Rico Lewis, what a goal. Oh, my word. I reckon there would have been some eyebrows raised when we put him in midfield. He's very good. I'd love to be able to sign him permanently. There's absolutely no chance we're going to be able to. He's obviously far too good for us. But what a goal that is. Goodness me. Yes, proceed with changes. Make Lewis the man, because that was a stunning goal. We actually controlled the game for a few minutes there as well. If you look at the match momentum, we actually had a nice little 5 minutes. Estupinian doing very well. Surely not. Surely. I mean, if we can get it to 4-2, I think that's a blushes saver. But the fact we've got Milner and Welbeck on the pitch, and I've just done the speech about getting rid of the old men, it doesn't bode very well, does it? This is still very much a work in progress squad. And I realise there will be people amongst you saying, Kev, it was a good squad to begin with. It might have been a good squad if you want to play the way Brighton play in real life. I don't want to. I want to play the way I play. So we had to get rid of a lot of them and bring in my kind of players. We are gonna win something within three seasons of the start of the save. We will win something. That is my guarantee. Liverpool look a little bit weak down this side, don't they? Estupinian now from the left-hand side, a little bit further forward, but equally as wide as Lewis scores from, and it's now 4-2. Dare we imagine if we pull this back to a 4-4 with this collection of players on the pitch? Have we stumbled across something? We're still playing. Oh no, we've moved away from wing play, haven't we? For a second there, I thought we were playing wing play with no wingers. We're not. This is, I think this is built off of a gegenpress. We like to use the tactical presets and then tweak, and this one is very much a tweaked gegenpress. But oh my word, we're on the attack. We're suddenly looking quite good. Is this the answer? All the midfield players. I mean, we've signed plenty of them over the course of January. Danny Welbeck, what is going on? It's now 4-3. We've been forced into a system I never would have used deliberately, with players I really didn't want to use that I thought we were done with. It's 4-3 with 10 minutes to go. All the momentum is with us. Surely not. Can you imagine if we were... Can we grab another one? Offer some encouragement. Go attacking. Let's grab an equal. We've got 7 minutes of time added on. The Brighton away fans roar at the prospect. We're not going to get another highlight, are we? We've got a corner. Milner with the in-swinging corner. Weirdly aiming at Kyle Walker-Peters. It falls to Pizarro, but once again, he can't get the shot away on the edge of the area. Now Gakpo is going to get clear for Liverpool and probably add number 5 for them because we've got a little bit too attacking. But... oh, when that looked like it was going to fall to Pizarro, I thought he was going to make up for those couple of misses that he had early on. Oh, dear. Oh, there you go. Straight at Steele. Possibly in his last game for the club, Steele, because we've got another goalkeeper, hopefully on his way in. You know what? That wasn't a disaster. We played quite well after we gave up. Maybe we should give up a little bit more often. Ansu Fati is out for 2 days. Gross for what? Why are these people getting substituted if they've just got little knocks? Ridiculous. Right, who do we play next? Wolves. But first, it's deadline day. So there's still money to spend. There might be more transfers to show you in a minute. Well, it was actually a relatively quiet deadline day in the end. Lucas Perry, the new goalkeeper, did come in. So he is here, and the only players leaving were a couple more loans just to make squad space and get some experience for our younger players. So Buonanotte has gone to Everton on loan until the end of the season. Bart Verbruggen has gone to AZ Alkmaar until the end of the season on loan. And Andre, the young midfielder that we brought in, has gone back to Brazil until the end of the season just to get some guaranteed game time into him. The Europa League registration, as you would expect, was problematic. Where are we? We were only allowed to make 3 replacements or add 3 new players. No matter how I did that, it wasn't letting me do anything. But I don't know if I've glitched the game, because I kind of just gave up, hit the space bar, and it automatically did it. So I think this might be a beta thing, but we've kind of got a registered squad. The only players not in, so I guess it's done some kind of auto pick. The only players not in are Pizarro, Schurz, and then Enciso and Bove. Everyone else is in. I was a little bit alarmed because it showed me that it had unregistered Evan Ferguson. Turns out Evan Ferguson doesn't need to be registered because he's under 20 and homegrown at clubs. So that panic was quickly over. But this is about 10 replacements, which you're not allowed to do. And it wouldn't let me do manually. I sat here for 10 minutes trying to do it manually before I was just like, bang, space bar. So if you have that problem in your saves, boys and girls, just try and hit the space bar and see what happens, because I think we've got away with it. Dynamics-wise, there's a couple of them who are concerned, but nobody's even come to me with their concerns, and it doesn't seem to have had too much of a negative impact on club atmosphere. So fingers crossed, we should be okay going into the second half of the season. Now we need to play Wolves. We are going back to the 4-2-3-1, mainly because I want to try and get the best out of Emile Smith-Rowe, who's making his debut today, and I think playing in that role is the best role for him. So it's new boy Lucas Perry in goal, a back four of Estupinian, Dunk, Gatti and Walker-Peters, Berg and Gross in front of the back four, and then Fatty, Smith-Rowe and Bailey supporting Ferguson up front. If we don't get goals out of Evan Ferguson with those three players behind him, I don't understand Football Manager anymore. And I'd like to think I do understand Football Manager still. We're about to find out. If we're really poor today with a team that I've spent a lot of money on rebuilding, I would like to point out we're still on a net profit for transfers this season. I've not gone completely bonkers. We've spent about 250 million, sold about 350 million pounds worth of players over the course of the season, when you factor in Caicedo and McAllister and the people who were sold before I left. But I did have that money to spend when I arrived, so it kind of all balances out. So I actually think we've done a decent job, and we now have a team that can play the way I want them to play. We've got Ansu Fati joining us permanently in the summer, and that's his 15th goal of the season. So for him to be coming in permanently is awesome. Ferguson should theoretically go from, I was going to say strength to strength. He hasn't shown any strength yet. Ferguson should start to improve. Star rating wise, Evan Ferguson is now considered the best player at the club. He's done nothing to demonstrate that on the pitch, but clearly there's some stuff going on under the hood. So hopefully we should start to see that in the match engine soon. We've now got a real goalkeeper, some proper defenders, midfielders who fit into the roles we want to play, and not very many grumpy boys. So theoretically, we should be looking good now to be competitive in the Europa League, and maybe even have an outside push at getting back into it for next season. And after such a horrific start, we might actually turn this into a half-decent season. We talked about this a little bit on stream last night. It's just taken me a little bit of time to get used to FM24, I think. Get settled into the new clubs, get settled into the new things that work and don't work in the match engine. I've spent a lot of time messing around with inverted fullbacks and inverted wingbacks and all that kind of stuff. And I think I've kind of decided you absolutely don't need to do them. They're a nice little fun thing. If you want to play around with that kind of thing, fill your boots. But the stuff that used to work pretty much does still work. Although I think you probably do need a DM or two in any formation, which is why we're playing this more defensive version of the 4-2-3-1, which I've never used before. You would have never seen me do this. I've always done a 4-2-3-1 with central midfielders before, and we have got the two DMs in there, mainly because we've got two very attacking wing-backs that we want to push on, and I think you do get a little bit exposed in this new version of the match engine when you've just got the two defenders and everyone else attacking. So I think having Berg and Gross there, it isn't as negative and defensive as it used to be on FM23 because of the new positional rotation stuff, encouraging them to step forward into those gaps in front of them. And I think this system works pretty well. We're 3-0 up at half time and Evan Ferguson has scored. I really can't complain, can I? Although we've got a goal review and it has been awarded. Come on then. Lovely old stuff. It's a lovely corner from Bailey and Ferguson is just there at the far post. An 8th goal of the season for him. Most of them have not been in the Premier League. He's another one similar to Pedro, who has enjoyed the opportunity to play against some smaller clubs in the FA Cup, giving him a little bit of confidence. And seems to be going really, Ralph, well. And Emil Smith-Rowe taking to this like a duck to water, as I knew he would. We have the money in the bank to just sign him permanently in the summer with that guaranteed future fee that we've got. If he is as good as I hope he's going to be, we will be enacting that clause before the season is up, and we'll have Fatty and Smith-Rowe both join us permanently in the summer, which is phenomenal business as far as I'm concerned. Right, let's just make a couple of changes, keep things nice and fresh amongst these boys. If we can find a way to get Rico Lewis in permanently as well, then I'm a jolly happy chap. Look at that, 6'6" goalkeeper who can actually collect crosses. That's a novelty. He can't really play as a sweeper keeper, so you can't have everything for £15 million or less than that we've paid for him. You can't have a goalkeeper that does everything I might want him to do. But after 6 months of Jason Steele, I'm just happy to have a goalkeeper who can make saves and catch crosses and do the basics right. We've got Verbruggen long term to become a complete sweeper keeper, and I'm sure he will as the save goes on. But for now, it's nice just having someone who can make saves, and you know, a goalkeeper that can keep goal is a boost. It's a bonus. Gatti now playing it forward to Rico Lewis at right back, and now Gilmore across to Berg. Berg, who's enjoying being allowed back in the team again after the board decided they didn't like him. I do like him. Estupinian down the left. If we can find the cross, Ferguson's in the middle. There is Ferguson. There is Almada. And there is number 4. Oh, we've scored, what's that, 7 goals in this episode now? We're quite good going forward, aren't we? Brighton 4, Wolves 0. And remember, Wolves are above us in the league. What a contrast from a couple of days ago when we were, was it 7 games in a row we lost when we were rock bottom of the table? We look like a different team. We're only 7 points behind Newcastle, having a very, I would say it's still a cautious look, but an ambitiously cautious look at those European qualification positions, and wondering if maybe we've got a chance. We should probably take off Smith-Rowe. He was only supposed to play 75 minutes, so Sunset can come on for him. We've got players I like, strength in depth in all positions now. The fact we can bring Ito on at left back, Sunset on as the attacking midfielder with 15 minutes to go. These are changes we couldn't make before. And Almada has got his second of the game. He's enjoying a little bit of freedom to attack and do his thing. And it's 5-0 now. This is probably the best performance we've had all season. I think we might be moving back to the 4-2-3-1 permanently. We've tried a lot of tactics recently. Like I say, the diamond, the 4-3-3. We've tried wing play, vertical tiki-taka, gegenpress. We may have settled on the Football Manager cliche. We may have settled on the 4-2-3-1 gegenpress. Who'd have thought, eh? Who would have thought? It's a variant of it, though. It's a different one to the usual one, but we have just won 5-0. The league table is looking lovely. And I think tomorrow's episode, we'll be back in the Europa League. And let's go and try and win that. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.